Well, it's a joy to be able to come back to you this Thursday, February the 4th. And the title of our devotional today is God Keeps His Promises, taken from Genesis chapter 14 and 15. Now, going back, doing a quick review of Genesis 13, Lot, the nephew of Abram or Abraham, had separated from his uncle and had chosen the plain of Jordan. And he dwelled in the cities of the plain, and we read in Genesis 13:12, he pitched his tent toward Sodom. Now that gives us a tragic indication of the direction Lot was leading his family when we read, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Genesis 13 and verse 13. Now, Genesis 14 and 15, our scripture reading. Genesis 14 gives us a brief history of the nations and people that inhabited the land of Israel in ancient times. Genesis 14 records the age-old drama of war and politics as 9 kings were named, and each king ruled a walled city-state with his own governance. Now, the lesser kings had been in servitude to the greater kings or the stronger kings, and they had been paying them tribute for 12 years. But we read in Genesis 14 and verse 4 that in the 13th year, those lesser kings rebelled. Now, to put down the rebellion, a coalition of kings invaded and defeated the smaller city-states. Numbered among those that were defeated was the city of Sodom and its inhabitants. Now, Genesis 14, 8 through 11. Now, let's go back. Lot, the nephew of Abram, no longer content to pitch his tent towards Sodom, had moved his family into that wicked city, and he and all his goods had been taken as spoils of war. Learning of Lot's capture, Abram gathered 318 men of his household and pursued and defeated the kings that had conquered Sodom and taken Lot captive. Now Abram returned victorious, and he was greeted by a king identified in the scriptures as Melchizedek, king of Salem. Now the word or the city of Salem is identified as the ancient name of Jerusalem. Now, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, is identified and described in the scriptures as the priest of the Most High God. And he pronounced a benediction upon Abram, who rewarded him with a tithe or a tenth of the spoils that had been taken in battle. Now the king of Sodom came, and acknowledging Abram as victor, proposed that he should retain all the goods that he had retrieved in battle, with the exception of the citizens of his city of Sodom. Abram, however, he refused the spoils of Sodom, lest that wicked king boast one day that he had enriched Abraham. Now, Genesis 15, God's covenant promises renewed. Then God came to Abram in a vision, and he revealed to him that he was his shield, his protector, an exceeding great reward. Abram, however, protested to God that he had no son, and therefore no heir. The Lord once again assured Abram that he would have a son born to him and his wife Sarah, and his lineage would be as great in number as the stars in heaven. We read of Abram's faith. He believed the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. God revealed to Abram in the closing of Genesis 15 that his heirs would one day be strangers, aliens, foreigners in another country. Now we know that country was Egypt, and that they would return to the promised land with great possessions. That prophecy would be fulfilled by the 12 tribes of Israel when they departed Egypt after 400 years of servitude. You know, Genesis 15 concludes with the Lord rehearsing his covenant promise to give Abram's heirs the land and stating the boundaries of that land. Here's a closing thought. God had assured Abram he had no cause to fear, for the Lord was his shield, his protector, and his defender. Abram not only had God's promises, he also had his assurance that he was with him. Here's a closing thought. God keeps his promises. My friend, have a great day in the Lord. I wish you God's best for this day. Bye-bye.